Hey everyone, welcome to another lesson. So in this one, we're going to create a little bit of a more complicated, project using the turtle graphics. So what we're going to create is a code that is going to draw a triangle, square, a pentagon, hexagon, a heptagon, octagon, and decagon on screen. So the way we're going to do this is actually very interesting. So the results of this is going to look like this. Take a look. So it's going to draw these different shapes basically one by one. And as you see, it does it in different random colors. So for example, when this is done, if I actually close it, it's going to do another different color. Let me just run this again. There you go. So you see guys, it does it in a different color, and somehow it uses like certain colors more than once. I don't like it, but that's just the randomness in there. But as you see, it draws different shapes, from a triangle to, a decagon, and it does it in a single go. All right, so let's actually go ahead and talk about this, and let me actually explain how do you do this. Okay, so in order to do this, we're going to use a few different turtle screen methods, the package methods, the methods inside this class. For example, one of the things that we're going to be obviously doing is that we're going to have it move, right? So in order to make a square, which we did in the first lesson of this practices that we're doing, we just have to move forward, turn left or right, and then just again do this 4 times, and we're going to create a rectangle, or we're going to create a square, right? Now, how do you actually do it when you want to, let's say, make a pentagon like this? So we got the angles. Now, the good news is that we can move by an angle degree, right? So, for example, when we turn right or left, we can actually tell it, turn in these different angles. Now, when you actually think about this, we have a rectangle, we got a, square, we got a pentagon, and all these different shapes that we're trying to create, right? They all actually are made of different angles. Like for example, the pentagon angles are 72 degrees, but the rectangle angles or square angles are actually 90 degrees, right? So we need to actually create a formula, because we can do this manually. We can just manually enter all of these different angles and have it run through different angles, right? But there should be a more efficient way to do this, and that's actually where when we get to this very simple formula. If you think about it, the full degree of in order to do a full round in in all of these shapes, it's basically 360 degree, right? So if you actually say how many sides, look at how many sides we have in each shape and divide it by 360, we're going to get the angle that we need, right? For example, in a pentagon, we divide 360 by 5, we get a 72 degree angle. And we can actually use this formula inside our code to actually automatically create this, instead of having to enter these manually for each shape, because this way again we can create shapes with, for example, 22 sides. What if we want to do that, right? That way again we can do this automatically. So with that being said, let's actually go ahead and code this. All right, so I'm going to actually pull this, and as always, I have the total graphics documentation in case if you want to take a look at it. And one more thing that I actually didn't talk about here, or I didn't mention too much, is that we want to obviously use different colors as well, right? So we need to use the random module to just go through different colors. So one of the things that we can look at is the colors, the color control, and all these different colors, which again we'll get there, and when we get there I'll explain exactly how we actually do this. But anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and start coding this. How do we make this? Let me just show this one more time to you. Take a look. So this is running again in a different editor. So as you see, it's just using different colors each time, a random color, and it's doing the rectangle, it's doing a square, and then a pentagon, and all these different shapes. And we got all of them. So how do we actually do this? So let's go ahead and clean this up real quick. I'm going to keep the screen and turtle objects. All right. So the first thing we need to think about is, well, let's actually go ahead and create that formula. So I'm going to call this angle equals 360 divided by number of sides. Okay. So basically that's what's going to happen, you know, the number of sides that we have. Let's actually create this number of sides. All right. So let's say if I want to create a square, we're going to have 4, right? Number of sides. So now we can actually make a very simple one. So if I can say Tim forward, all right, and I can say 100, and I can say Tim right, and I can say angle. So the idea with this is that we're going to, you know, again, create, we're going to figure out how many number of sides we have here, right? 4. And then we're just gonna get the degree, right, the angle using this formula, very simple. And then we're gonna feed it to this, object that we created here. So if I do this, as it draws a line and then it goes. So if I do this 4 times, basically the number of sides, you know, we can actually just get that square. All right. So now we kind of have an idea how do we do this, right? Let's make it more, interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a for loop so we can actually do it more efficiently. All right. So we're going to say for in range, and this is going to be number of sides. So that way, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to basically do 4 times, right? Like number of sides is going to be 4 times, and let's actually put this inside. And just like that, guys, now we can actually create the entire square. Take a look. There you go. See, guys? So just like that, we can create the entire square. All right. So far we're getting somewhere, right? So we got actually obviously a lot more to do. One more thing I want to do is, obviously we need to use this in a more efficient way. We can't always enter the number of sides. That's not what we want, right? We want it to automatically draw these things. So what we can do is we can turn this into a function, right? So we can say define, and we can call this draw shape, for example, and we can say number of sides. So this is basically a input, right? And we can get rid of this. So just like that, we made a function. Obviously, we're gonna put this inside. So now we have a function that if you feed it the number of sides inside this thing, right, it's going to draw something. It's going to draw this like whole thing, right? Very simple, right? So far, it's not anything complicated. So the next step for us is to simply actually make it to actually go through different shapes, right? So that's the next step. So in order to do this, we can use a for loop, and I'm going to say for range, okay, and num. So again, it can be anything in range, and let's think about something very important. All right, so we're going to use a range, obviously, to go through different numbers. So the first shape that we have, let's go back here. I want to show you. The first shape we have is triangle, right? And we got a square. So this is 3 sides, 4 sides, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? So again, we got 3 to 10 sides for each shape, right? So we want to say, for this, like obviously for the range, we're going to say 3 to 11. Obviously, because the 10, it's like the last number itself doesn't count in a range, right? So we want to say 3 to 11. And just like that, and what we're going to say, we're going to use this function that we created. We're going to say draw, right, shape, and we're going to say range number. So we're going to put that in here. And just like that, we're going to be able to create all of this, like in a single shot. Take a look. So if I run this, awesome, right? So we are now actually creating all these shapes. How awesome is that? All right, so we're almost there. We're almost done with this. Now we actually got to give it some colors. So that's the final step here. Give it some colors. So how do we actually do this? Let's think about it. So it's very simple. We know, right, that we can control the color let's say let's give it a color, Tim color. This is the, by the way, the color method for the total package, right? So we can give it a red color, for example. We know that we can control the color here, right? So let's go ahead and like do this again. I see we can control the color, right? So what if let's just close this off. What if I can replace this color with different random colors? So to do this, what I need to do is, first of all, import the random function. So I'm going to say import random, right? So we're just importing a random function, random, package. And now we can actually go ahead and next we need to actually create a list of colors. So I'm just going to create a new variable called colors. And what we're going to have, it's going to be a list, and we're going to put a bunch of colors inside it. Now, you want to find the right colors, obviously, for your turtle graphics. And you need to, and in turtle graphics, if you actually go to the documentation, we got a bunch of different colors. So I see we got red, green, and there's a whole list of them, by the way. So if I'm going to Google this, and I'm going to say turtle graphics color. Okay, and if you do this, we're going to land on this website. I'm going to leave a link to this website, by the way, in the resource section, so you guys can like check it out, and you don't have to go through researching this. But anyway, so these are the colors, the predefined string colors, okay, of the colors that we have inside the turtle package, turtle graphics package. So as you see, if you click on it, it's going to give you the name. And again, different colors. We got red, we got orange, red, all these different colors. All right, so now what we can do is we can go back to our code and create a list of different colors. So and again, I have it already kind of set here. So all you gotta do is just have different color, red, for example, green, blue, orange, purple, all these different colors. For example, I can maybe replace one of these with a more interesting color. For example, there you go, this one. Medium purple. Okay, that's very interesting. So there you go, medium purple. So just like that, we added our colors. Now what we need to do is we need to make sure that when the color is called here, okay, when the color is called here, we can actually use the random function to pull a different color each time, right? So in order to do this, this is very simple, right? We're gonna call this the random module. And we're going to say choice. This is the choice method inside it. And we can go to colors. So we reference the color variable here, colors variable, which includes this list of different colors. So now each time this thing is going to run, it's going to automatically choose a different color in this list. So just like that, we created its ability to add different colors. And we can add, again, we can change these angles. We can have a 20 angle, 19 angle, shape if we want. But for this case, in this case, we're just going to go from 3, which is a rectangle, to 10, right? So let's go ahead and save it. And if I run this, take a look what's going to happen. We're going to have different colors each time it's going to draw the new shape. How awesome is that? See guys, so this is the power of, again, object-oriented programming, and it's really interesting when we, use these different packages to create interesting stuff. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I just wanted to show you this because I want us to work a little bit with colors, because we will, when we get to our actual project, we're going to work with random colors, and truly random colors, which is a whole different subject, but it's very interesting. But we'll get there when we get there, and you'll see it exactly in action. But let me know if you have any questions, guys. I'm going to leave a link to the resources that I used here, especially this website where you can see different colors, and also this this PDF file as well. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. If not, I'll see you in the next lesson.